Hello there, it's Elliot, and it's that time of the month again. We have new Criterion announcements for releases that are set to come out later this year. Obviously, the big one that's just been announced is Parasite. Parasite is coming to the Criterion Collection, which we've known for about 4 or 5 months now. It was announced, I think, just after Parasite won the Best Picture Oscar and all the other Oscars at the Oscars. I have some good and some not so good things to say about this Parasite release as it stands now, but I'm going to do these in spine order as I usually do for these announcement videos, and Parasite is actually the last one of the bunch. So stick around towards the end of the video to hear my thoughts on this Parasite Criterion release. So coming October 6th, 2020 is Pierrot Lefou from Jean-Luc Godard. Now, the Criterion collectors among you, which I'm assuming is everyone watching this video, probably knows that this has had a previous Blu-ray release from Criterion way back in 2009, and it's since fallen out of print a few years ago because of some rights issues with Studio Canal. I know Criterion lost a few titles during that period and those fell out of print, but obviously they have now reacquired the rights to release this film. This is a trend that actually began with Army of Shadows, the Jean-Pierre Melville film, which got re-released a few months ago. This was one that was lost to Studio Canal and Criterion reacquired the rights. So this is good news because there's still a number of other titles that Criterion lost, including Carol Reed's The Third Man and Le Cercle Rouge from Jean-Pierre Melville. So this might bode well in actually getting those back into the collection. But anyway, Pierrot Lefou. Let's see what's in the actual release. So it's spine number 421 because, as I said, it's been released before, so it doesn't fall into the post 1000 spine numbers. It mentions here that it's from a new 2K digital restoration with uncompressed monaural soundtrack on the Blu-ray. So this is interesting because it should be set to be a picture improvement on the old Blu-ray, and you'd expect that because that came out 11 years ago. There has been restorations done on the film itself since that release, so this is good news, and it means that if you have the old release and you're a fan of the film, you'll want to pick this one up as well. And it bodes well for me because I only have the UK Studio Canal release of the film, which is the same old master as the old Criterion, so I will definitely be picking this up. I should mention that Pierrot Lefou is actually one of my favourite Godard films. I've mentioned recently on the channel that I'm not a fan particularly of some of his later works, like I really don't connect with them at all, but his earlier stuff like Breathless, Pierrot Lefou and Contempt, I'm a big fan of those 3 films in particular, so I'm very excited for this to actually be coming out again. The special features on the disc, none of them are mentioned as being new, so I can only assume that they're on the old disc as well. But there's an interview with Anna Karina from 2007, a Pierrot primer, a video essay from 2007, Godard, L'amour, la poésie, a 50-minute French documentary from 2007, and then excerpts of interviews from 1965 with Godard, Karina, and Belmondo. It's worth mentioning that there is new cover art for this release. That's something that they didn't do for the Army of Shadows re-release a few months ago. This new artwork, I don't know if I actually like it. I don't know about you guys, but the F on the front sits just above where the year number and where it says Criterion Collection, but it doesn't sit flush. And when I look at it, I can't unsee that. Something about it just doesn't sit right. Maybe I'm just nuts. So that's what I'll say about the artwork. Overall, it's one to be excited for if you've previously missed this Blu-ray. You're getting a new restoration and the same special features as before. So something to be excited for perhaps. Next up, coming October 13th, 2020, is a film called Claudine, directed by John Berry. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't have the foggiest about this film. It's not one that I've heard before, but I'm going to do some reading up after this and actually see if it's the kind of thing I'm into. I see that it stars James Earl Jones, who of course is a fantastic actor, of course the voice of Darth Vader as well, but I recently watched Matewan, which is in the collection, and James Earl Jones is great in Matewan. So I'm up for seeing more James Earl Jones films in the collection, and I think this is part of Criterion putting a spotlight on more Black American stories being represented in the collection. So I imagine we'll see a lot more attention and care given to these kind of stories. Hopefully this means we'll get more Charles Burnett films in the collection. That's something I would particularly like. So not knowing much about the film itself, I'm just going to get into the specifications. Spine number 1052. It's from 1974. We've got a 4K digital restoration. There's an audio commentary with all of the actors and the filmmakers on there, a new conversation on the film. There's illustrated audio excerpts from a seminar about the film, and there's an essay in the booklet, and obviously new illustration commissioned by Criterion. If you're familiar with Claudine and you've seen the film, please let me know what you think about it in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you're enjoying this video of me talking about the new Criterion releases, please do consider subscribing to the channel, because I do this every month when Criterion makes some new announcements, and I make lots of other videos talking about the Criterion Collection and giving my personal recommendations to you. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Next, on October 20th, 2020, we have The Gunfighter, starring Gregory Peck, directed by Henry King. This is going to be spine number 1053 from the year 1950. The Gunfighter is a great western from the 50s that kind of explores the more psychological nature of these western heroes. So even though it's called The Gunfighter, it's actually kind of light on action. It looks more into the psychoanalysis of these characters in this situation. And Gregory Peck is amazing in this film. If you're a fan of westerns and you've not seen this one, it's one to definitely have on your radar. So the film itself is great. What about the special features? Well, there's a new 4K digital restoration, so it should look really sweet. There's a new interview about director Henry King, who, by the way, great filmmaker. New video essay on editor Barbara McLean. Audio excerpts of interviews with King and McLean, and then there's an essay with some writings as well, and of course new artwork. And I really actually like this artwork. It's black and white artwork, but then his shirt is red, so I think it looks very good, and it's a release that I'm very excited for. So let me know if you've seen The Gunfighter, if you're excited for this one too. Also releasing on October 20th, 2020 is The Hit. This is a film from Stephen Frears from 1984, and this is spine number 469, because this is an upgrade from an old Criterion DVD. What intrigues me about this film particularly is the director, Stephen Frears, because I know this is meant to be one of his best films. He's a filmmaker who's made so many films in his career, but he isn't one that you would call an auteur necessarily. So all of his films don't fit into a neat canon filmography. They don't have a running style through them. He's made all sorts of different films, some of them Oscar winners, some of them just totally bombed at the box office and just flew into obscurity. So I'm very interested in seeing what is said to be one of his best films. And of course it stars Terence Stamp, who you just can't go wrong with Terence Stamp. One of the finest English actors, if you ask me. So it's exciting to have this as a Blu-ray upgrade, and it looks like all of the special features are just carried over from the old DVD. So there's an HD digital restoration, so not a 2K scan or anything. Audio commentary from 2009, which is from the old disc. There's an interview with Terence Stamp on Parkinson, and then there's an essay in the booklet. So I'm very intrigued about The Hit. It's one that I'll probably pick up in the future at some point. I'm not jumping to pre-order it, but if you've seen The Hit, please do let me know if you'd recommend it, because I might move it higher up on my watch list. And the final release for October 2020 is of course the big one that everyone's going to be talking about. It is of course Parasite, and it's releasing on October 27th, and it's got spine number 1054. So I've talked before on the channel about why I'm excited for Parasite coming to the Criterion Collection. And honestly, it's not even for the release itself. And hear me out here. What I mean is that by showcasing probably the biggest Korean film to come out in forever within the collection, this might promote more South Korean films coming to the collection. Ones that get looked over completely, Criterion might give more of a chance. Because before Parasite, there's only 2 Korean films in the whole collection, which is kind of crazy when you consider there are 1,000 spy numbers, well, or more than 1,000 now. So by having Parasite in the collection, it might garner more interest in other works of cinema from South Korea. I mean, what about a Park Chan-wook film in the collection? Or Hong Sang-soo? Or more Lee Chang-dong? You know, these would all be great filmmakers to highlight in the collection. So there's some good and bad that I want to talk about. I'll start with the bad. So obviously people are going to bring up that this isn't a 4K UHD Blu-ray. And this follows on from last month when, of course, we had The Elephant Man that did not get a 4K UHD disc, even though that is readily available on 4K elsewhere in the world. Parasite does have 4K Blu-rays out there already, so many people are going to view this as a step back in technology, because Criterion are known for promoting the best viewing experience possible of a film. And in this case, you could argue that it's not, because this is just going to be a 1080p version of the film. It's not going to be 4K. Of course, for many people, 4K isn't an issue at all. Many people aren't bothered, but it's definitely a valid criticism of this forthcoming release, so I thought I would mention it here. The other thing, which I also see so many people mentioning already, is the particular artwork choice for the release. This particular artwork features the original poster artwork for Parasite under this Morse code reading, which is obviously from the film itself. Morse code is featured in there, but I think people are saying that they wished there was some more exciting artwork, because there is a lot of great Parasite artwork out there that they could have featured on this release. From the looks of it, and this is pure speculation, it looks like it's going to be like a digipack release where you might pull off the cover and reveal the full Parasite poster artwork. So beneath the Morse code, there's probably the full artwork underneath. If that's the case though, and I've seen already some people mention this, that means having pure white on a digipack, they get very dirty and very dusty very quickly. Like anyone who had the old Last Year at Marienbad release, that was famously a white digipack, and over the years that's just gotten very, very dirty, totally gone discoloured. So that could be something to consider for this as well. I know that's very nitpicky, but it's definitely valid criticism of this release. But we don't know if it's going to be a digipack yet. It could just be a standard case. So what is good about this release? Well, the overall package and the special features look to be pretty good. We would have expected Criterion to produce some new features for Parasite that aren't featured on already existing discs. And I'm excited because I currently own the UK Artificial Eye Curzon disc, and that has barely any special features on there at all. It's just the film itself. Interestingly, it says new 4K digital master approved by director Bong Joon-ho and director of photography Hong Kyung-pyo. So that's interesting because it's saying new, so it should be an improvement over other standard Blu-rays, maybe not 4K discs. There's a new audio commentary featuring Bong Joon-ho and critic Tony Raines. This is what I'm definitely excited for, that audio commentary, because I want to hear Bong Joon-ho get really into the details about making the film. And Tony Raines is an Asian cinema expert. Like, he's done so many features on many of the films that I own already. Like, he must be featured on so many discs right here. And every time I listen to him, he's just so knowledgeable about all Asian cinema. So I'm very excited for that. There's the black and white version of the film with a new introduction by Bong, which I don't think was available on the other Blu-rays of Parasite in the US. I know in the UK we had the black and white version featured on there, So that's exciting for you folks who haven't seen that yet. There's a new conversation between Bong and critic Darcy Paquette. There's new interviews with Hong Kyung-pyo, production designer Lee Ha-jun, and editor Yang Jin-mo. There's a new program about the new Korean cinema movement featuring Bong and filmmaker Park Chan-wook. And then there's the Cannes Film Festival press conference from 2019 featuring Bong and members of the cast. And then there's a masterclass featuring Bong from the 2019 Lumiere Festival in Lyon, France, and a storyboard comparison. And I know storyboards were big for Bong Joon-ho when he was making this film. And then there's an essay on the booklet as well. So it's a stacked release, tons of special features, and for the die-hard Parasite fans, it's going to be worth the double dip. Like I mentioned, my reservations are just it not being a 4K UHD disc, which pretty much sets in stone that Criterion aren't considering 4K anytime soon, because this would have been a no-brainer. And then just the artwork. I'm intrigued to see what actually happens with the artwork. I've seen some people on Facebook already are calling for the artwork to be changed, a bit like with Tree of Life when that artwork was famously changed. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. But it's one I'll definitely be getting at some point. So there you have it. Those are my quick, very brief and uneducated thoughts about these films. I do hope you're excited for these. Let me know in the comments if any of these in particular are standing out to you. Okay, my friends, that about wraps it up this time. If you want to stick around on the channel and explore more of my Criterion videos, please do. Just click whatever video is going to appear on the screen. I will be back very soon for some more videos on Criterion, like those recommendation videos. So until then, stay well and healthy and keep watching great films.